Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with the review for Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 8, Episode 4. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the show opens with us seeing Nneka picks up her husband from the airport. He's a traveling doctor. And so she says that he is gone for a week, and I think he's home for a week. So this is his week back at home. Now, you guys know that these two are trying to get pregnant, and Nneka says that it makes it difficult for trying to line up their schedules, so that she can get pregnant. But they got this big old 5-bedroom house. Time to fill up the rooms with babies. Anyways, while they're in the car, Karen calls.
Hello, Nneka. It's Karen Hugo here. Listen, I wanted to invite you and your husband out to play pickleball.
Would you be interested? Yes. Nneka and her husband, neither one of them know how to play pickleball. However, they can both appreciate the fact that Karen has invited them. So yes, they will be there. And speaking of pickleball and the ladies and all of that, Nneka tells her husband how, they don't know she just don't know what to think of Wendy and her husband, Eddie. Okay. Because, already know that Wendy's sister-in-law or Eddie's sister was calling around apparently and called Nneka's husband's people and, was checking up on him and all of this. And apparently Nneka feels like maybe, they had a problem with her being on the show, or actually she said being around these ladies. And her husband said, well, maybe the girls feel threatened, or maybe Wendy feels threatened, having two Nigerians on the show at one time. Wendy ain't never said none of this kind of stuff, but they definitely are putting that kind of energy in the air to make it look like Wendy has had a problem with Nneka. But honestly, Wendy has had no problem with Nneka because they really haven't had any time to be around each other. Everything that any back and forth between Wendy and Nneka has come through Ashley. So, anyway, Nneka says that she doesn't appreciate the fact that Wendy's husband is trying to act like he don't even know her husband, because apparently Eddie and her husband both went to the same school together. They followed each other on Facebook. At least Eddie followed the husband on Facebook, but then they noticed that Eddie stopped following the husband. So she believes that happened right after, all of these calls were being made and everything, and they don't appreciate that. I was just like, Nneka, you're reaching. We about to go through the I don't know yous for, I guess, the next couple of episodes still. Now, jumping over to Robin, we see Robin meeting Giselle out for like a late lunch, early dinner type situation. They get seated, Giselle flirts with, I guess it's just a given that Giselle, any young man that's in the room around her that looks like he might be available, she gonna somehow, some way figure out a way that, maybe she could flirt with him or whatever. Time is flying. How's the boys, Robin? Robin says, oh, she's been really busy with them, and Giselle knows the same. Grace is winding down high school, about to go away to college. Time is flying. Anyways, they're talking about this pickleball event that Karen has coming up. Is Juan going to be coming? Robin says, yes, Juan is coming. And she gonna let Juan come, and she don't care what anybody got to say. If anybody got anything to say, they can just say it to him then. But you know what? They'll be there with bells and whistles on. And Giselle says, yeah, well, Juan, how's Juan doing? Because, I guess Juan, while they was her reasonably shady podcast with Robin while they were here in Atlanta, Juan was able to catch up with Giselle and said by no uncertain terms that, he didn't fuck that girl. Okay. Giselle said that he was yelling at her because, well, anytime a man approaches Giselle, she always automatically thinks he's yelling. Although I'm sure that Juan probably was yelling this time. But anytime you get Giselle and a man child, somehow Giselle figures out a way to get scared. So, but anyway, he did go off on her and say he didn't stick his dick in her, and then of course, Robin is taken up for it though and says that no, he wasn't yelling. He just, from his days of coaching, he's used to yelling, screaming because he can't really hear all that good. So he just yells and screams all the time. Yes. Can I withdraw $50? Is that what he do at the bank? I was just asking, y'all. So we had the conversation about Juan. We know that Juan put Giselle in this place, and then Robin has to tell Giselle about Wendy and Nneka, and how she went out with Nneka, and Nneka told her how Eddie's sister was calling around, and Eddie's mom was calling around and saying something about adding Nneka's family to this shrine that she has. And Giselle was like, shrine? Like voodoo? She doing voodoo? That's what it sounds like to them. I was just like, y'all just gonna keep up with this voodoo stuff, huh? Okay, I've already told you guys how I felt about it, so I mean, I'm just gonna continue on with the show. But yeah, now Giselle is convinced that Wendy's mother is also doing voodoo on Nneka's family. So as of now, everybody believes that Wendy's family is evil. Now let's jump over to Candace. Candace is at home with Dot, and Candace says that now that she is working on her career singing and everything, her mother has a newfound respect for her. And you know what? She appreciates that, I guess Dorothy was just like, okay, my child ain't just a spoiled brat over here just twiddling her thumbs and spending up my money. Okay. Anyways, yeah, her mom is visiting, and she's just telling her mom about this tour that's coming up. So, she just got off of the promotional tour for her album. Is it called Deep Space? Yeah, I think that's the name of it. Anyway, but now she's going on her real tour, and this is going to be quite a big chunk of change out of her pocket. She left her label, and now she's got to do this on her own. So she's, just trying to take herself seriously and everything. How's Chris doing with all of this? Dorothy wants to know, because, that's always the main thing. Chris is fine. It's hard though, because now she's gone a lot, and Chris is home. And so now that's kind of changed the dynamics of their marriage. Well, is Chris donating to the... Jessica, I didn't even know you were in there. Huh? Oh, I'm so confused. You guys are so quiet. I never hear anything. Oh my goodness. Okay. Bye. Sorry about that. Jada and her friend was leaving. Anyway, but yeah, so Chris is not really bringing any income. Well, not like how he was before. Now he's in class, so of course he doesn't have income from that. I mean, he does have income, but it's kind of the roles have reversed a little bit, and Candace is still trying to figure out the whole work-life balance thing with Chris. I'm telling you, this so far this season, me and Candace, we good. Candace is about her business, and I'm liking this about Candace. So, let's stay in this lane, Candace. Let's stay in this lane, because it looked like Wendy over there battling, child. It's gonna be a rough season for Wendy. I can feel it already. But yeah, Candace and me, we good. Okay, Mom asked her how's everything with Robin, and she was just like, I'm not really sure how I feel about Robin. And I think that Candace should be allowed to feel that way. She says that the fact that Robin was kind of straddling that fence, Candace is still not sure. Well, have you spoke to her? No, they haven't spoken, but they probably will eventually. She's going to actually be around Robin at this pickleball event that is coming up. And her mom was just like, listen, Candace, life is too short. I don't want you to be holding grudges. You and Robin used to be cool and everything. And Candace was like, well, I'm not really trying to hold grudges, but it is difficult. And then put on top of that, you're on a reality show where your fans, even if you did try to forgive Robin, your fans are probably not going to like that. So it's hard for her. You have to remember, these housewives, they be fighting and shit, and sometimes they be ready to be over the fight, but the fans aren't. So they have to kind of keep it going. So I think that that's where Candace and Robin might be. Needless to say, this pickleball event is coming up. It's going to be a little awkward, but Candace is prepared for that. Maybe they'll be able to talk then. All right, so we see Uncle Jessup and Karen. They are at the pickleball event. They have on their green, because Karen said,
we're dressed like pickles, me and Uncle Jessup, and we're gonna set the tone honeymoon for today. It's going to be nothing but fun.
Karen said, damn it, it's about to be a good time, and that's all that it's going to be. And then, the girls start getting there. Of course, Giselle gets there first, because Giselle always does. And so we're teasing, Karen tells Giselle, how good she looks. She's got this new young man and everything, but she hasn't met this new young man.
I don't even know. He's not in the phone. I haven't seen this one.
Girl, you ain't missing nothing. Mia and Gordon get there next. And Gordon, goes to greet old Uncle Jessup. I was like, Gordon has had a fall from grace the same way that Uncle Jessup did that one season, so I'm sure they can relate. As the girls start getting there, Karen tells the staff that they can start letting everybody know about the rules, regulations, what exactly is pickleball, what they're going to be doing. So that's what the staff is doing while the rest of the girls are trickling in. Wendy and Eddie show up. Candace shows up. Candace doesn't have Chris with her because he's busy. Okay, but next time, Giselle is over there just kind of looking with this face, and they ask her why she hasn't spoken to Candace, and she says that she's not going to speak to Candace because nothing good comes out of a conversation that she has with Candace. And that's probably the best way to be. I did notice in my comments last week that people were saying that Giselle is purposely avoiding Wendy, well, you guys said Wendy, but I think that Giselle probably is going to steer clear of Wendy and Candace this season. And it looks like now the fans are going to be upset with Giselle for not talking to them. They was mad at her for talking to him before. Now they mad at her for not talking to her. Giselle can't win for losing. Okay. I don't blame Giselle for not wanting to deal with them because, yeah, why should she if everybody's going to blame her? So, I mean, it's fine. And as far as Candace is concerned, Candace was like, it's fuck that bitch forever. Like, forever. Candace she's not going to deal with, and I don't blame Candace for it either. Okay, so everybody just needs to stay in their respective corners. Ashley makes it there. So yeah, the gang's all here.
I just want everybody to be able to keep the lines of communication open today.
Karen says because it's her event, she gets to set up the teams the way that she wants to. So one is team start-ish and the other one is team finish-ish. And I think on one team it's like Karen, Ashley, Giselle, and I don't know, child. Anyway, the way that they have these teams set up, you could tell these girls don't like each other. It's like uncomfortable to even have them on the tail. Like they have Candace and Giselle on the same team together. They have Wendy and Nneka on the same team together. It shouldn't be that kind of tension between the two of them, considering this is really their first time really interacting with each other. But it is, the tension is there. Then Juan and Robin get there, and now everybody's just like, oh shit, what? Juan is here? I cracked up when Mia was just like, of course Juan is here. He ain't got no job. What else he gonna be doing? I mean, it was true, but it was just like funny the way Mia, still Mia cracks me up. I mean, she does, even though I know a lot of people don't like her, she still is funny to me. So it's real awkward, and that should be a window into a peek into how these girls feel about each other. Like when the shows get to this point where really nobody really likes each other, then you have scenes where it's very uncomfortable. And really none of them really, I really don't think that any of them really, really like each other. It has become a full-time job. It's weird energy in there. Robin got on like Danskin leotard and tights. Like, girl, what are you doing? Like, it's just a whole bunch. But what? We play. Okay, I don't know much about pickleball. It seemed like it was way too many people out there. I was like, do they usually have 4-on-4 teams? Is that usually how it goes? I mean, I guess they had to make do with what? I mean, but we do quadruples or is it just doubles? What is happening? Is this even how pickleball works? But okay, so they play. Juan and Eddie, they having their own separate fun. Well, the men are trying to have their own separate fun over there. They done got Nneka's husband over there too. And so the men are trying to enjoy themselves separate from the women. Once we finish playing, now we're going to sit down, Karen,
I want everybody to get them their sour pickles that's on the table.
Karen is so corny. Like, why do we have pickles here? Reminds me when Phaedra had her baby shower, child. Just, anyway. So Karen decides when everybody sits down, she wants to tell a speech, and thank people for coming. She gets started on Robin and Juan, like Robin and Juan, they came, and Juan gets up, he's like, oh, I'm not fixing to be sitting here with this. Like, you're not about to be pointing me out. Robin was just like, Karen, don't say my name. Why are you saying my name? Why are you even bringing me up? Karen.
Oh, Karen was just like, I'm just trying to say that, Juan is here and I'm grateful.
But Juan was just like, no. So Juan was like, come on, let's go play some basketball over there. So he gets his ball and he gets up and he walks away. Well, that's fine. So they leave the ladies over there to talk. And Ashley asks if the ladies are good. One of you guys did point out that Ashley probably was put up to all of this by production to stir up the pot. And yes, that I agree, that's probably true. However, Ashley is taking the job way too seriously. It's just like, how many times are you going to bring up Wendy and NECA? If they're not good, which we probably, at this point, it's pretty obvious that they are not, like, why do you keep bringing it up? Let them just, I know it's a show, y'all. It's a show. I'm not going to worry. I ain't going to. Also, let me just apologize now, because I know last week wasn't in the best mood. You guys know that I might have came back and forth with a few people in the comments that I normally don't do shit like that, but I'm telling you, I was not in the best mood. So, yeah, my bad. I don't think I said anything like really too crazy, but I do realize that probably my patience was way shorter than it normally is. And so I don't normally go back and forth with people in the comments. I'll let people just feel however they want to feel. But I was like in that, last week I was so agitated. I was just like, I was arguing with everybody, even in the comments on Instagram, just everywhere. I didn't give a fuck. Okay, but afterwards I was like, Roxanne, maybe too much. Maybe you need to go sit down somewhere. So yeah, just letting you know. But anyway, yeah, this whole thing where it's clear that Ashley is the person that has been put to task to make sure that she stirs up the drama between NECA and Wendy, and NECA is falling right in. One of the things about when you first come on a reality show, you don't really know the lay of the land. So you kind of like, you come in and you really trying to make like a statement for yourself. And NECA's no different. I hate that she's allowed herself to be brought in this way, because you don't want to be brought in as the villain. You ain't even really done nothing, but now people don't like you simply because of this. Do you know Wendy or not know Wendy? Is your family calling Wendy's family or not? What is happening? Or is Wendy's family calling? It's just too much. I didn't like the fact that NECA was trying to make it seem like Wendy had the problem with her when it wasn't. Wendy was just like, I don't really know her. This is my first time being around her, really. And then NECA wants to explain, no, that's not true. And they've been around each other, and then their husbands know each other, and that, Eddie actually took the time to unfollow them on Facebook once they were calling around. And, Wendy was just like, what? Eddie was like, I don't even know you. And then the husband was like, oh, so you're saying that you don't know me? Is that what you're saying? Say that. Are you saying that you don't know me? And Eddie was just like, wait a minute, hold on. What is going on here? And I was just like, this is such an out of control and chaotic scene. Like, you guys are coming at Wendy and Eddie, and Wendy and Eddie ain't did nothing. If by any chance it's true that Wendy's family was calling around, that's still not on Wendy. So Wendy was just like, I didn't do any of that. Even though NECA was saying, yes, you did, bitch, you did. And she was just like, wait a minute, why are you calling me a bitch? Like, I'm talking to you. You calling me out of my name. Bitch was so unnecessary. There was no reason for NECA to go there. Girl, you just got so caught up in all of this to try to make it seem like Wendy was coming for you like that, when really, honestly, people probably do call around when there's a new person coming on the show. NECA wouldn't be no different. Just because she's Nigerian, that doesn't mean anything. It might just be the fact of the matter of these women just calling around like, who's coming? Like, do I know them? Should I know them, or all of that? It could have been very, very innocent. And it could have not, because even Candy has said that that's what they do. When they find out who's coming on the show, they call around. They be checking, So I don't think that's they're trying to make it seem like Wendy was doing something. If that even happened, they're making it seem like it was probably with ill intention, but it may not have been, is what I'm saying, if that's indeed what was happening. But all that, they don't want to say they know. It's like, Who cares? Who cares? But they are definitely trying to provoke Wendy, you know. And then Wendy, I don't know if she handles the provocation that well. You know, her thing is always to get up like, oh, you guys just jealous of me, huh? Y'all just jealous of me. Y'all just love Wendy. Y'all just... And I was just like, girl, they I don't know. I just feel like nobody really likes each other on the show. So now it's just gotten to that kind of cutthroat feel of the show. So Wendy gets upset and was just like, I'm not going to sit here and talk to her. Like, I'm not fixing to argue with Nneka. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit and talk to Mia. And Mia's like, Mia? You know, so then they're all like, oh, she's deflecting. No, it was just like Wendy was getting tired of that scene. So her and Mia get up and they walk over to the side and, well, I don't think that Mia and Wendy are going to be friends either. So I don't know why Wendy chose this, you know, chose Mia of all people. But, you know, Wendy is just trying to... I feel like they're attacking Wendy. I do feel like they're attacking Wendy. It's just sort of like, why y'all all mad at Wendy? Because Wendy says she don't know she don't know the lady. Okay? It's not even that big of a deal. I can get to know you. It's a shame that we two Nigerian girls on this show and we fighting over, we don't even know what the fuck we fighting for. And Nneka has fallen into that trap. And so now Nneka's unfortunate, but you're going to have a lot of enemies just for no reason. And that's where you are. You almost feel like a pick me, a choose me type. Okay, so you gonna come in and yeah, I know I'm Nigerian and I guess maybe people will look at me and say maybe I'm dark skinned or whatever, even though my contour, my makeup be so off and I be trying to figure out what colors people got on their skin to begin with. But it's just sort of like you've allowed yourself to be brought in this way. So now people automatically are just, some people are just automatically not gonna like you, and that's too bad. We didn't even get to know you and we already don't like you. This whole thing about the demons, you know, while they was talking and then Juan shot the ball and it went over there and hit one of the shaving dishes, and then Karen was just like, oh my God, Juan is trying to sabotage her thing, and Candace was saying that the demons was trying to get him, and you know, they talking about this because this is all during the time they talking about the supposed shrine and all of this. And yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, child, it was just, why? I don't know. How are you guys enjoying the show so far? Make sure that you thumbs up the video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Roxanne. The channel is It's Rox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.